not a akarmaka dhatu, because in 2.7, if you look at the Gita, yat shreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme. In fact, this is vikarmaka dhatu. So tell me that, by which will be definitely good for me. Which will tell me that. So tell me is clearly has an object. So shreya has object for that. So shreya syat nishchitam bruhi tanme. So tat is object is tat bruhi. So now here we have clear controversy going on between the grammarians. Some of them feel that this should only be used for. In fact, I was also I looked at quite a few books. I also looked at the what has been given by the scholars at Sanskrit Bharati, and there also they say, akarmaka kriya uddesham api sampradana sanyam syaditi vartikasya arthaha. So they also say it's going to be akarmaka only. And the main place where I found this is what is the pramanyam for us? What is correct? Of course, Shastriji is 99.9% we have to follow what he says. But I looked at also the Nagesha Bhatta is a commentator on the Siddhanta Kaumudi. I know this is too much detail for many of you, but I want to point out that these karakas are not black and white. I mentioned that to you before. There are some gray areas, and maybe Panini left them intentionally, possibly. Maybe they were crept in afterwards. But so this we have to go to what the I wanted to give you this name, this Nagesha Bhatta. Nagesha Bhatta. Nagesha is like one of the last authoritative commentators for us. He was, I think, 2 generations below Bhattoji Dikshita, and he has written a lot of good commentaries. One is what is called the Shabdendu Shekhara. I want to be used to these names because this is where I go to find answers if I'm stuck. Shabdendu Shekhara. Shabdendu Shekhara is a fantastic commentary on the Siddhanta Kaumudi. A lot of points which people don't make, he makes. This commentary is only about 200 years ago, so it's not very old, 200-300 years ago, maybe 300 years ago. So there he passes the opinion that this, in fact, if I can find it, let me read it out for you. And there he says that here only the akarmaka dhatus only should be the example of this sutram. That's the opinion that he passes over there. But then clearly Shastriji has given examples which are not, which are sakarmaka dhatus are there. So that's one problem. What we can do is that we can go with, but Siddhanta Kaumudi has not. Siddhanta Kaumudi has not given example of sakarmaka dhatus under that vartikam. So we can stick with Siddhanta Kaumudi and what Kashika etc. are given, and we can take only akarmaka dhatus with that one. So that is point number 1. The other point which Kalpeji pointed out to me last time, and thank you Kalpeji for pointing it out, is that the other sutram which you're looking at, the Chaturthi Sampradane, under that we saw the Vartikam also, Tadarthe Chaturthi Vachya. Tadarthe means when something is meant for accomplishing or gaining or creating something else, then that something else will also take Chaturthi Vibhakti. And that what I'm talking about is the, of course, 2.3. And there also we have some, the famous example which given in the Siddhanta Kaumudi is that Muktaye Harim Bhajati. Harim Bhajati Muktaye. Now that example has been given in the in Siddhanta Kaumudi and also by Shastriji in Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. So now the other example is given, let me go to Sutram, Chaturthi Sampradane. Under that, the 2.3.13, you will see the examples given. See, the example is Kashika gives is that Yupaya Daru. The wood is meant for making the sacrificial altar. Kundalaya Hiranyam. Randhanaya Sthali. This is the typo. But Avahananaya Ulukhalam. So there is no Kriya involved over here. The Kriya is not involved over here. He says that, wood is meant for something, gold is meant for making earrings, the pan is for frying, and, and so on and so forth. So now the question is that when Shastriji and Siddhanta Kaumudi, which Kalpeji pointed out to me, has given the example about this one is Muktaye Harim Bhajati. He worships Hari for the sake of Mukti. Now clearly he wants to get Mukti, so that is the Tadartha. Tadarthyam definitely we have. But then the question comes, could this have been put under that prior Vartikam, which is Kriyaya Yamaviprayati Tamavi Sampradanam. So here I think we have to take it that these kind of examples, even though Kriya is involved and not really one thing for another, because Shastriji first says that when one Vastu is for another Vastu, then we can use this Vartikam. But then he gives an example of something, so maybe we can transform it slightly. Harehe Bhajanam Muktaye. Maybe we can make it like that, make it like that. So the fact that Siddhanta Kaumudi gave this example, see the examples these people give are extremely precise, and they also always suggest something to you. So you want to find, you can look at the examples very carefully and try to match your situation to the examples which are given by these scholars. And this is the one which is a critical one for us right now, is Hare Muktim Bhajati Hare. I'm sorry, Muktaye Harim Bhajati. Muktaye Harim Bhajati. And Prabhupada Siddhanta Kaumudi gives this for a reason, because he wants to tell us it's not just the Kundala, Hiranyam and all that, but this one also can go under this Vartikam. So this he wants to put under this Vartikam, not under the other one, because that one we're going to keep it for the Akarmaka Dhatus, even though Shastriji says, has used given examples otherwise. So for the purpose of this class, this is one of the rare situations where we will go the other way from Shastriji. He has given some Sakarmaka examples under that Vartikam. I think that's following his gurus, the Charudev Shastri's, there's a book called, very nice book in English, by the way, it's called, I think, Panini Reinterpreted. Where he gives in details all the sutras and everything. So there he is also given, and there he clearly says also that Sakarmaka Dhatus can also come under that other Vartikam which we saw earlier. That is called Panini Reinterpreted. So anyway, in this class what we will do is that we will keep that other Vartikam on that 1-4, only for Akarmaka Dhatus. This one, Tadartha, is a much more common usage. That we will use for when we go to the homework. We will see usages like this one, Muktaye Harim Bhajati. We will use this Vartikam, because that's keeping in line with Siddhanta Kaumudi. See, in all these cases, I like to go to Siddhanta Kaumudi is our Pramanyam. So what he says is what we should follow, because he was really the greatest grammarian that we know for sure, in our time. And he's also not that old, Bhattuji Dikshita I'm talking about. So the opinions that he passes, unless we really have a reason to believe otherwise, which I have not found so far. Everything Siddhanta Kaumudi have found so far has been up to the point. So that is Pramanyam for us. So whatever he says in there, we will follow. Of course, you are welcome to do your research and form your own opinion. This is my opinion. And most of the time, Shastriji follows that. In this case, he has gone the other way a little bit. But that he may have a reason for that which we don't know. But so we'll use this Vartikam a lot more. The Tadarthi Chaturthi Vachya we'll use a lot more. And the other one which we saw under the which we saw over here, which is the let me see, I think it is this page. Yeah, Kriya Yamaviprayati Sopi Sampradanam. We'll keep that only for the Akarmaka Dhatus. The last one comes this Sutram, which is my favorite Sutram, because these are all Vartikams. I like to use Sutrams more than Vartikams. So the one that we were talking about is this 2, 3, 13. Let's look at that. Where does that fit into all this? That's the fourth piece of the puzzle. These are the four pieces that we need to use. And there he says, Kriyartha Upapadasya cha karmani sthaninaha. So basically, if you have a tumun pratyaya which has been suppressed, then the object of that tumun, which would normally take a karma sanya, will now become sampradhanam. And the example that they give here is that is edebhyo vrajati, or it says, so he goes for the sake of collecting firewood. So he says, edhamsi ahartum vrajati, means he goes to collect firewood. So that to collect is being suppressed. So it should be edhamsi ahartum vrajati. Instead they say edebhyo vrajati. The key here is that there should be a kriyata kriya. There should be a second kriya involved in this sentence, which the speaker is intended to. That is of course a gray area. So how do you know whether the second kriya is involved or not? And the object of the second kriya should be that which is going to go in Chaturthi. Now, because here the object of Rajati is not Etansi. It is the Aharanam Kriya, which is the Kriya to get some, to collect firewood, he goes. So that to collect has been suppressed, so he goes for the sake of firewood. That's what is put here. But then the question comes, even over here when we saw the Harim Bhajati Muktaye, can we supply Kriya in there and makes it Harim Anukula Yutum Bhajati, sorry, Muktim Praptum Harim Bhajati, can we say that? He worships Hari in order to get Mukti. Muktim Praptum Harim Bhajati. In that case, we don't even need this Vartikam then. So with this example, Harim Bhajati Muktaye is, according to the opening of Siddhanta Kaumudi, should be used under this Vartikam, Tadarthe Chaturthi Vachya, and not under the next sutram which we saw. So we will go in that. But here also you can see that is there a second action involved here? I think the answer is the second action is not significant here. It's not like he is worshipping Hari and then doing a second action of getting mukti. I think that second action is kind of trivial. It's understood. The first action is not for the sake of second action. So that's what I think it is. So then let's look at these four sutras again. 2 sutra and 2 vartikams. Let's summarize the whole thing one more time. And the first one we saw was the start from 1-4. Again, for everybody's, anytime you have any karaka question, all karakas, all the vibhaktis are assigned in 2.3. The karaka labels come in 1.4, and that's in a section called karake. So 1.4.23 starts karake. Under that, the one we have, this one is karmana yam abhipreti sasampradhanam. So this sutra we will use for many dvikarmaka dhatus. For example, vipraya dhenum dadati. So he gives a cow to the priest. The dvikarmaka dhatu. So he is giving the cow for the benefit of somebody, for the advantage of somebody, for the sake of somebody. So that is what we'll use this as a favor to somebody. So if you can use these words, then we can use this sutram. Karmana yam abhiprati sa sampradhanam. That's number one. Number two is that this vartikam down here, priyaya api yam abhiprati sa sampradhanam. We will reserve that only for akarmaka dhatus. And that will be not very common usage. I think in the homework we don't have any of those. So we will just don't use it. But the examples are given in Kashika, you can look at them. They're all akarmaka dhatu examples. So that is second one. The third one we go to then the 2-3, I think it's 13 or 12. That is the Chaturthi Sampradane. In that we saw this number 3, and that was a very famous Vartikam. This one which in 2-3 which we saw, and this one is under Chaturthi Sampradane. There is the Vartikam which says Chaturthi Sampradane, it says Tadarthye Upasankhyanam. Tadarthye Upasankhyanam. So Chaturthi Vidhane, Tadarthye Upasankhyanam. So it's called Tadarthye. But one more thing is that this Tadarthye actually has been hinted by Panini in one of the Samasa Sutrams. Let me go there for 1 second. So this Tadarthye is not something which they came up on their own. Tadarthye, because Panini has a sutram which we won't look at in detail today, because that's in the Samasa section. It's the Tatpurusha section, where he says that you can form a Tatpurusha Samasa when you have a Tadartha relationship. And the question they're asking is that how can we even ask about Tadartha when this 2135 is a Samasa Vidhayaka Sutram. Panini says Chaturthi Tadartha Artha Bali Hita Sukha Rakshitaihi. So here he uses the word Tadartha. So the question comes, how can we even make a Samasa if Chaturthi is not Chaturthi na Vihita? It has not been ordained in the first place. So where is the Samasa going to come? But there also the Kashika I think will comment is that something I think he will comment. Here he gives in the Kashika under 134 says Tadarthe Chaturthi cha Asmadeva Nyapakad Bhavati. The fact that Panini is saying that if you have a Chaturthi Tadartha, then in tadarthe, you can make a samasa. Then obviously tadarthe must be possible in Chaturthi Vibhakti. Chaturthi is allowed for that. So that's how they figure out that this Vartikam, which is given under that 2.3.12, is coming from this 2.1.34 hint of Panji. So this word which they use is called Nyapakam or Nyapakaha. You got to get used to this word Nyapakaha. This is used a lot in Vyakaranam. So Nyapakaha means that is the indication that Panini gives. That this something should, it will not be a sutram, given specifically. So Spashtam na Uktam is not given clearly, but Nyapakaha. So that is the Nyapaka that we can use Chaturthi Tadarthye. So anyway, that's the third piece of the puzzle. So coming back to that, the 2.3.13, Chaturthi Sampradana. So this we will use a lot. This one, this Tadarthya Upasankhyanam, we will use a lot. Because even though Kashika doesn't give examples like, Harim Bhajati Muktaye, Siddhartha Kaumudi has given those examples. So not only something which is used to make another thing, which transforms to another thing, but something which is meant, or even an action, meant for getting something, for obtaining something, for creating something, for making something. That is called Tadarthya. So examples in Kashika are Kundala, Hiranyam, gold is for making earrings, and so on. So anything that in English you can say for making, for creating, for getting, for obtaining. These are or for, for accomplishing. Also accomplishing. That's also a good word. These all come under Tadarthya Upasankhanam. And then the last one which I told you already, the next sutram itself, which says when you have the Kriyat Upapadasya Karmani, when somebody does something, when he goes to the forest to collect flowers. So he goes to the forest to collect flowers. That to collect is suppressed. So he goes for flowers. When there is one action done for a second action, and the second action is being suppressed, then also we can also use the Chaturthi Vibhakti for that, for the object of that action which has been suppressed. Now this sutram people don't use a lot. In fact, Shastri doesn't even give this. In Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, first of all, Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi is extremely terse, by the way. It does not cover karakas in great detail. So it's one thing about Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi is that it leaves a lot of, if you look at Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, it only gives like 2 or 3 sutras. That's all it gives. It doesn't give any more. Only it gives the first one, the Karmana Yamu Viprayati Sampradhanam, no Vartikam also. No Vartikam on that. And then all it gives the next one, it gives the Namaswasti Swaha Swadha. That's it. And then after that, I think it only gives that one Vartikam, Alamiti Paryapti Grahanam. Paryapti Artha Grahanam. So that's all Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi gives. Very, very terse. This is one place, if you're studying Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, you want to look in other places to get some more knowledge about the Vibhaktis and the Karakas. So actually this sutram, which I think is quite useful, even Shastriji has not given this in his appendix. Bhaimi Vakya, for those of you who are new, I'm saying Shastriji, that is the Bhimsen Shastriji, who has composed the Bhaimi Vakya on Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, an extremely, extremely useful book, which is in Hindi. But even if your Hindi is weak, please get it. It's a 6-volume set, very, very useful, very, very useful. Very few typos, almost none, and very authoritative. So Shastri doesn't give this sutram at all. A little bit surprising because he doesn't think it's required. So this is not a very popular usage. Not a popular usage. But you can use it once in a while to justify Chaturthis. If you get stuck, you can use this one. Let me give you a last quick example and we'll stop this because I think most people may not be interested in so much detail. One more thing, if you're only composing, if you're only reading, not composing, you don't need any of this. Chaturthi will already be in front of your eyes. So if you can use in English, it's something for unto somebody, for the sake of somebody, for the advantage of somebody, for accomplishing something, for the sake of something, for creating something. All these in English will give each other. So it's kind of a very intuitive vibhakti. So we don't need too much grammar. But in the parampara, the way it is given, there are a lot of issues involved. The last example I'll give you, take this one for example. Yes, let's say Nrisimham. This was the example they give. Nrisimham. Sorry. Nrisim. I'll improve my typing. Sorry. Nrisimham. Namaskaroti. We looked at this I think last time. Namaskaroti. Now what happens is here, the two things are happening here. You do have the word namas, and we do have the sutram. We said if namas is there, we have to use chaturthi. You say Narayanaya namaha, namo Narayanaya. So that is the sutram which we have seen, and that is the under the namaswasti swaha, and that comes in the 1.4 in that which we saw last time. I'll tell you what the issue involved is. So we'll take the last example and then move on to homework. But the let me see if I can find this one. Okay, now we'll go to 2.3, not 1.4. So 2.3 is the upapada vibhakti. The upapada vibhaktis come directly in 2.3. Means vibhaktis are assigned directly without giving the karaka sanya. And there we have the sutram which says what's the number here? Yeah, here it is. Truth is namas swasti swaha swadhalam. So namas requires chaturthi. Narayanaya namaha. But then we also have the dhatu kru involved over here. So from that we should make it narasimham namaskaromi. But then if you have and then when as I mentioned to you, when the two vibhaktis clash, the karaka vibhakti is baliyasi. So the dhatu kru has taken a karma which is narasimha, and that will give dvitiya vibhakti. While namas is upapada vibhakti, will give the chaturthi. So really here you should have narasimham namaskaroti should be the correct form. But if you see a form like narasimhaya, if you see this form in the language, then how do you justify it? What do you do? Because here this dhatu kru should have overruled. You should have had in narasimham namaskaroti. You should have narasimhaya namaskaroti. In this situation, you can use that the sutram which I mentioned to you, but tumum being suppressed. You can make it like this. You can make it narasimham anukulayatum. Anukulayatum. Kulayatum namaskaroti. So now what you did was you supplied a term in between. This is the so make this a kriya to kriya. So he is worshipping, saluting Narasimha in order to gain his favor, in order to make him favorable. Anukulayatum. I'm sorry, Anukulayatum namaskaroti. So in order to justify Narasimhaya namaskaroti, you can supply this term in between to justify this, because otherwise this karoti should have, the karma sanya should have overruled the sampradana sanya, should have overruled the upapada vibhakti, I should say. So the dvitiya vibhakti was coming by the karma sanya. That would have been more powerful than a direct chaturthi vibhakti. So therefore should have had narasimham namaskaroti. But if you have this usage narasimhaya namaskaroti, you have to supply as anukulayatum. So this is a useful sutram. So this sutram which I just mentioned, or the 2-3, I hope I'm not confusing everybody thoroughly over here, but that's the way the karakas are. So this one which I just told you, 2-3-14, even though not mentioned too much by many people, it's a useful one. If you have a chaturthi, which you cannot justify by easy means, try to use this one. And again, we are not composing some sutram, we are only reading. So if the other sutras fail, then you come to this one. Which others fail? First one which Panini has given is that karmana yam vipraitisa sampradanam. Let's try that number one first. Then try the tadartha chaturthi, try that one second. If it's akarmaka dhatu, you can try it, you can use that vartikam under the 1432. And all these fail, still you cannot, no help, then come to this one, where you can use a tumun and suppress it and get the, that will help, this one will help you many times for tough situations, okay? So we'll keep these four in front of you. when we do the homework, again, there has some overlap. There are some gray areas. For this class, I think this much is enough. Now let's do the homework and practice these and see what we can use. So last time, if you have a Dvikarmaka dhatu, then you can use the sutram 1432 for Dvikarmaka dhatus. When he gives a cow to the priest, so he gives a cow to the priest. That's a Dvikarmaka he's giving. That is 1432, and then you can use Chaturthi Sampradane. If you have a Akarmaka dhatu, use the Vartikam under 1432. Triyajam Vipreti Sobi Sampadanam. Then remaining, try to use the Vartikam under the 2312, which is the Tadarthi Chaturthi Vachya. If all these fail and there's no help, then come to the next sutram, which is the Kriyat Kriya is there, and Tumun has been suppressed, then you can use that one. Okay, so let's go to the homework and see what we can use. So now you tell me which one you want to use. Okay, I'll put you on the spot now. So we got all of this. So our homework, in fact, let's start the homework from the beginning. Okay, one more thing before I forget. We have one more Vartikam under this which we will need. I think it's over here. And that is the, when we have this dhatu klup, there's some typos here. Klupi, when something is klupi sampadyamani chaturthi vaktavya. When something is conducive to something else, something is conducive to something else, it leads to something else. Then also you can have to use chaturthi vakti is allowed. And sometimes that verb can be suppressed also. Is mutraya kalpate yavaguho. So barley leads to urinating. But and it says krupi iti artha nirdeshaha. So we can also use the synonyms of the dhatu krup. Krup means to be conducive to become fit for. He says jayate. You can also use the dhatu bhu, by the way, and that can be suppressed. So our first homework which we saw, let's see what all we can use. Let's go to our first homework and see which one can we use. And there, the first homework that we have is this one, Dveshaha Kasyana Doshaya. Let's take this one now. Let's see now. Which one do you want to use here? Let's go down our list. Do we have a Dvikarmaka dhatu? We don't have it. There's no verb over here. Do we have a Akarmaka dhatu? We don't have any dhatu at all over here. So that's out. Do we have something for the benefit of something else, for gaining somebody else, for something, for accomplishing something? That also we really don't have. So now, do we have a kriyata kriya? That also really we don't have. It's not like there's no action here at all. So this one should go under this vartikam which I just showed you, which when the dhatu krup is involved, when something is conducive to something else, then and that dhatu can also be suppressed. So we can supply the word jayate or bhavati or sampadyate. So you can use this one and say dveshaha kasyana doshaya jayate. So hatred. So when does hatred not lead to, a dosha is papaya, is demerit or blemish for somebody? So for whom? For whom does, or you can say, this hatred doesn't lead to blemish for whom? Means for all. It leads to blemish. So dveshaha doshaya, I think, supply jayate. So we have to use this vartikam under the 312. It says the klupi sampadyamane chaturthi vaktavya, and then klupi iti artha nirdeshaha, and you can say jayate, sampadyate, etc. So you can use that one. Same thing, this whole shloka is like that. Pritihi kasyana bhutaye kalpate. So affection, for whom does affection not lead to prosperity or glory? Darpaha kasyana pataya. So you have to supply everywhere kalpate or jayate, kasyana jayate. So arrogance, for whom does arrogance not lead to downfall? Means it leads to downfall for everybody. And unnatyi kasya namrata na kalpate. So means humility. For whom does humility not lead to upliftment? Unnatyi. So here we use the Vartika about the Dhatu Klip, the 2, 3, 12. Let's take the next one. That had no Chaturthi. Okay, let's, because this one Titiya Vibhakti only has. Angena Gatram, Nayanena Vaktram, Nyayena Rajyam, Lavanena Bhojyam, Dharmena Heenam. Here you have the Heenam. Khalu Jivitam, Na Rajate Chandramasa Nishayatas. Everybody supplies this word Heenam. So Angena Heenam, Gatram Na Rajate. So a body which is devoid of a limb does not look good, na shobhate, does not look brilliant, does not shine. A face without an eye does not look good. A kingdom without ethics doesn't look good. Food without salt doesn't look good. And then life without dharma doesn't look good. And the night without the moon doesn't look good. So here we didn't have any Chaturthi at all over here. We had only Tritiya only Vibhaktis we had. And there, I'm going a little bit fast because we've done this in the prior class. But here we had the word Heenam. And here I think we have mentioned that we can use the word Sahayukte Pradhane. So Saha means Angena. Heenam is Angena Vina. So Angena Rahitam, which is without. So Panini actually says you can use the Titiya with when you say the word with. Somebody is with somebody. So Putrena Saha Mata Gacchati. So that's how it says. So mother goes with the with her son. So with you can use you can make it without also by supplying na. So you can say Putrena Rahitam Mata Gacchati. So if you look at the Tritiya, here is come Tritiya start from 2-3-18, Kartikarna Yor Tritiya. And next one is Sahayukte Pradhane. That's what I'm talking about. Or you can also use that Panini has used the word he has put this word Vina. Without also you can use. So maybe you can stick it under this 2-3-32, without. The word Vina is there, Pratak Vina. Now if you look at this 2-3-32, the word Vina is mentioned, not the word Heenam, but Vina is mentioned. So it says Vina Devadattena, without Devadatta, Vina Devadatta. So that also could be used, but I think we can use the Saha in the reverse sense. With means you can use without also. So that's the one. Now coming to this one now is third example. Yaha parebhyo suyati sa atmane drujyati. Which one can we use here? Now this is a specific sutram for which is easy, which we saw under the karmanaya vipariti sampradhanam. Below that, Pani mentioned the some dhatus, the objects of which will get the sampradhana sanya. And there he has mentioned these two dhatus specifically. Panini mentions. He said these ones: the krudha, draha, irshya, asuyarthanam cha yam pratikopaha. So someone who you're angry with, who you hate, who you are jealous of, or who you find fault with. That will take. This is a very clear-cut example, nothing to worry about. 1-4-37, you get the Sampradana Sanya by 1-4-37, and then you get the Chaturthi Vibhakti. So you have to go to two-step process. First, Sampradana Sanya comes first, and then below that you get the Chaturthi by 2-3-13, Chaturthi Sampradane. So that one we got there. The point raised over there was that Asuyati is a derived dhatu. There is this gana called the Kandvadi gana. Kandvadi gana. This is a very strange gana. It has these terms which can be looked upon as dhatus or as pratipadikams. So kandu actually means like scratching. A scratchy feeling is kandu. So kanduyati means that he scratches, he itches or scratches. And kandu can also be declined like a feminine noun like vadhu. So now kandu can do both jobs. It can be, this is the gray area between dhatus and pratipadikams. It is kandvadi gana. You can have them these you can have these terms going as dhatus or going as pratipadikams. So technically these are not nama dhatus as such, because they can do dual purpose, asuyati. And the sutram for that is in the beginning of 3.1 is the sutram for that. And it says Kanvadibhyo yak. Kanvadibhyo. We won't go in full detail today. If you want to look at it, it will this Kanvadibhyo yak. This Kanvadi kana dhatus take the yak pratyaya. When they are to be used as dhatus. Under that you have the word asu. Asu. So asuyati is when you find fault with somebody or backbiting. Okay, Manoj has a question. Very good. Okay. Yes, Manoj. Manoj, you have a question? No, I guess he got his hand up by mistake. Okay. All right. So that is the Kandvadi Gana. Also, for the benefit of everybody in the class, I want to mention this dictionary which we have. I hope everybody in the class can use this one. It is a very useful dictionary by Professor Abhyankar, one of the great grammarians of Maharashtra, because I think India also I should say, because his father was the one who edited the entire Mahabhashyam along with the commentary in Marathi, which is one of the best Mahabhashyams available today. Was done by his father. His grandfather, great-grandfather, they were all great grammarians. And it's a very wonderful dictionary he has put. I think most of the old students know about this. For the new people who have joined, please use this book. It's a very useful book. It is on Kalpesh Ji's links page. You can download this one. Let me see. Where is Kalpesh Ji's? Okay, here under this, I want to point this out to everybody. This is the one which is the Dictionary of Sanskrit Grammar. So everybody please use this book. So it's a wonderful book which gives you in simple English, along with sutra numbers, every technical term that is used in this language, in grammar. Like what is Pratipadikam? What is Kandvadi? What is lit? What is lut? What is lot? Who is Bhattacharya Dikshita? What is Siddhanta Kaumudi? What is Kashika? What is Nyasaha? What is Dukarmaka Dhatu means what? What is Sampradhanam? What is Chaturthi? All these questions, you can get the answer in English in a small paragraph, which is very authoritative, very scholarly, along with sutra numbers. Everything you can get here. Who was Nagesha? You can get all the info. Let's look at that for a second. So please use this book. And again, I have a soft corner of his book because this author unfortunately had a very tragic death. I was only a young boy at that time. I remember that. I think 1976. So at least we can do for him is at least use his book now, because they do all this seva for us, so we can spend their lives. Actually, he actually gave his life also for this language. So we can definitely use his book, and that will be like a seva for him also. But anyway, see what it says about Kandvadi Gana. Kandvadi, a group of words which are headed by the word Kandu, and which are either nouns or roots or both, to which the affix yak is added to arrive at secondary. And in his course on the Mahabhashyam, see for people like for scholars like these, Mahabhashyam, even Rig Veda, Pratishakyam, of course Kashika, everything is like at their fingertips, so they can compose. What was the question here? Can we use 1437 for Dveshaha? Okay, let me see. Maybe we can use. Okay, that's the question from Kannan. Okay, let me see. No, that's Manoj's question. Okay, let's look at 1437. Manoj is asking a question. Can we use 1437 for Dveshaha? Let's look at 1437. And let's see what 1437 says. Yam pratikopaha says amarshaha krodha devataya krujyati. Yes, but see there, Manoj, what we have is that we have these verbs being used. It should have a verbal form, and then towards which you have hate. Here, be careful, because Manoj, look at this sutra 1437. He's asking why can we not use 1437 for the homework example. The homework example is dvesha kasyana doshaya. But see that sutra 1437 says that the chaturthi can only come for that word towards which you have the anger or the hate or whatever it might be. So 1437 can only be used to give sampadana sanya if that thing or term of that person is the one that's being hated. In our case, we don't have that. Look at the example. See here he says, for example, he says, Krudhyati Devadattaya. Devadattaya Krudhyati. He is angry with Devadatta. Devadattaya Drijyati. He hates Devadatta. Again, Devadatta is like the English, John, or general person is called Devadatta in this language. You say Mr. John Doe is called Devadatta. So you should understand that. You see Devadatta a lot being used everywhere. So Devadatta is some person. Mr. X. Mr. X is Devadatta. Okay, so you get used to Devadatta. Devadattaya Ishyati. But what do we have? We don't have that kind of usage. As I mentioned, this is like the practicing law. You see what example that we have? We have dvesha kasyana doshaya. Dosha is not being hated. What we have is dvesha leads to dosha. It leads to. Dvesha is not the one which is being hated. Same thing here. It is when you say darpaha napataya. So here these things are not the ones which are the object of the hating or the jealousy or whatever. They are the ones which are the product of the hating. So yes, so good question, but 1437, I think we probably cannot use this one because, as I said, because the sutta is yam pratikopaha. So yam pratikopa is important. So this sampradana only comes if that thing or person is the object, is the target of that hating or the anger or whatever it might be. Okay, so we don't have that. But anyway, thank you for the question. Going back to Abhyankarji, so Kandvadigana. See, he quotes from the Mahabhashyam. We won't go through in detail with that. We will spend too much time. And he gives the Kashika Sutra number also. That below, you also have the Kandvadigana, not to be confused by the way. There is also the Kandvadigana and Taditas. They sound almost the same. This is Kanduadi. And this is Kandvadi with the word Kandva. Two completely different things. But anyway, let's see what he says about Nagesha. We can do that also. Who was Nagesha? That's one of my favorite grammarians is Nagesha Bhatta. Let's see what he says about Nagesha. So you can answer all these questions in the dictionary. Very useful dictionary. Please download it. Please use it. You can let me see what he says in Nagesha. Okay, let me see. Nagesha.
Satish, can you please zoom in?
Oh, zoom in? Okay, I'm sorry. Zoom in. Is this the one, Kalpesh? Zoom in? No, that's not it. Maybe I can make it. Okay, maybe I should make it like this. Maybe. Okay, here we go. All right, Nagesha, the most reputed modern scholar of Panini grammar, well versed in Shastras, lived in Banaras, in latter of, so he's about like 200 years old maybe. He's known for masterly commentaries. This is the Shabdendra Shekhar I was just talking about to you. And the Udyota is a commentary on the Mahabhashyam. So he gives how he was in the tradition of Paturi Dikshita and all that. So this is a very useful book, So what is Dhatu Vritti? If you can find out what is Mahabhashyam. So all that you can find out. So please use this book, okay? Okay, so let's go back to, and thank you Kalpeji for all the wonderful links so we can get all these books, online. So let's continue with the homework. So this Asuyati, this Asu was in the Kandvadi Gana. And we did, so what happened in the Kandvadi is that we have this pratyaya yak is added to create a new dhatu. So we use the word Asu. Asu is there, and then add the pratyaya yak. In fact, the fact that the ka has been used as an it is an indication that these can function as dhatus. Because the ka is to stop the guna by Chiniticha, number 115. But guna is only possible when we have a dhatu inside it. With the pratipadikam, it will not take guna, anything like that. The fact that Panini has used the pratyaya yak for the Kandvadi means the Kandvadi, that's an indication that they can also function as dhatus. Now Asu, when you add ya, we get the dirgha of the Asu. What sutram? Anybody in the class? How do you get the dirgha of the U to become Asu ya?
Halicha.
I'm sorry?
Halicha.
No, Halicha won't do it. What number is that?
No, okay.
That won't do it. Anybody? I think Induji knows. Oh, Anushya knows the. Anuji knows the answer. I think Indu also knows the answer. Anyway, yes, Anuj. Yes, Anuji. Is your mic working, Anuji? No, okay, not. All right. Okay, I think her mic is, but I know she knows the answer. The answer is this 7425 the sutram. Akrut sarvadhatakayoho dirghaha. Again, because we have a lot of new people, we'll do some revision. So akrut sarvadhatakayoho dirghaha. So 7425 the sutram, we say that if you have this ya, which is not a krut pratyaya, it is not sarvadhatuka either, then the prior vowel takes takes dirgha. So akrut sarvadhatukayoho dirghaha. So this ya, which is a yak, is not a krut pratyaya because that's coming before 3191. It's also not pratyaya which is sarvadhatuka because ting is sarvadhatukam, adhadhatukam sheshaha. So it is neither a sarvadhatuka pratyaya nor it is a krut pratyaya. It is a ya. So then that is why, if you look at the vritti quickly of 7425, if you look at the Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, ajantasya angasya dirgha bhavati yadav pratyaye natu krut sarvadhatikayoho. It's very common in the passive. We say stuyate. No, so when you use that form, when you use any dhatu agent like chiyate, so all this. So these all passive forms get this dirgha because of that akrut sarvadhatikayoho dirgha. For all the new people, don't worry about all these sutrams. Take whatever you can. We'll repeat this many times. This sutra is repeated in this class maybe 100 times or 50 times already. So we'll repeat it more times also. So asuya. This becomes a new dhatu, becomes asuya. And then you add of course, the lat lakara you make on top of that. And you made the lat lakara, and then you go to usual prakriya. You will get the pratyaya tip tasji. So because third person singular, you use pratyaya tip. Then you add the shap. So you get, skipping some intermediate steps, you get asuya plus kartari shap comes in there. Kartari shap, and then that only comes before you do the tip. Because of tip, the shap comes in. Then we get shap, and then in this, if you remove the it letters, all you have is the asuya plus a plus ti. Because remaining, this is halantyam, lashakvatadjite, halantyam, these are it letters. Between this a and this a, normally you would have had the akasavani dirgha, but there is an exception to that is atogune. Atogune. Atogune says that when you have the a, which is not padanta, that is this a over here, followed by letter which is a guna letter, means a or o. And pura parayoho ekadeshaha is the pura rupam. So by that, between this a and this a, only this prior a remains, and this one gets lost, because in place of these two, a plus a, only the prior a remains. That's why we get the form asuyati. I'll give you the number for that. It's very important sutram, which is atogune. Atogune is, if you have a non-padanta akara followed by a guna letter, which is a or o, in that case, pura parayoho, in place of those two, is an ekadeshaha of the pura rupam. Pura rupam ekadeshasya. See, these sandhi rules, vibhakti rules, even tinganta, are black and white. They're like mathematics. So enjoy them. When you come to karakas and samasas, you have to scratch your head to figure out what sutra to use. So you should master these ones which are kind of straightforward, simple, not simple but straightforward sutrams. So atogune is this one, 6194. Very important sutram, atogune. It says apadanta dakarat gune parataha pura parayoho sthane pararupam ekadesha bhavati. So pararupam, actually I take it back, I'm sorry, between it was not it says pararupam ekadesha bhavati, not purarupam. It was a mistake I made. It's actually, in this case it won't make a difference because we had a plus a. What remains is the second akara, not the prior akara, but the second akara, the pararupam. So if you had a plus a, only the a will remain. If you have a plus o, only the o will remain. If you have a plus a, the second a remains as the ekadesha. So please make the correction. It's pararupam ekadesha syat. Okay, so that's how we get the form asuyati as a revision for everybody. So it becomes Yaha parebhya asuyati sa atmane drujyati. Again, druha and this asuya are listed specifically in that sutram, which we just saw in 1.4. Go there for one more time. So this was also an easy, straightforward application of that sutram. I think 1.4.30. Here, this is krudha, druha, irsha, asuya. So they were all here specifically. So nothing to worry too much. It's very straightforward. 1.4.37 gives sampradana sanya. 2.3.12 gives the Chaturthi Vibhakti. This only gives sampradana sanya. You had to go for 2.3.12 to get Chaturthi Vibhakti. So that one is done. Now, the meanings of this are given by Antoine over here. So you can say Yaha parebhya asuyati. Parebhya Chaturthi Bahuvachanam. So dhatu asuya is generally when you find fault with to envy somebody. So one who envies others. Para is other. But para has many meanings. Para can mean another. Para can be an enemy. Para can mean supreme also. Like say when you say parantapa in Gita, it can be an enemy also. So it has, but here it means another. Anyaha, anyebhyo, asuyati. Saha atmane drujyati. So druha also a meaning he has given here with druha, and that means he kind of hates or to bear malice. So he bears malice towards himself. Atmane chaturthi vibhakti of Atman, sacha drujyati. Now, the next one is, okay, let's look at the next one now. Prasadam sharanaya gatanjanan raja abhyanandata. So prasadam is dvitiya ekvachanam, sharanaya is chaturthi ekvachanam, napumsakalinga. Gatan is dvitiya bahuvachanam, dhatu gam. Janan is qualifying, janan is the dvitiya bahuvachanam. And raja is prathama ekvachanam, abhyanandat is the past tense, lang lakara. And dhatu is nand, so it means the king kind of congratulated or heartily welcomed, heartily approved of those people who had gone to the palace for shelter. So Raja is the Karta. Raja Abhyanandat, he congratulated those people who had gone to the palace. So this prasadam is object of gatan. They had gone to the palace. I mentioned to you last time, normally this participle, which is the kta pratyaya, is used in the passive. But if you have a akarmaka dhatu or a gatyartha dhatu, then it can be used in the active also. So this has to be an active usage. So we will not take an object prasadam. We will not take an object prasadam. So the fact that the object prasadam is there for gatan, this must be active. And normally it is not, as a default, this pratyaya is not active. And quickly go to the sutram, is the one which I want to remember, is 3.4.72. 3.4.72. Let's take a three-step process. First one is the kartari krit. So any krit pratyaya is kartari. It's in the active sense. But then we have 3.4.70, which says tayoreva krutyakta khalarthaha. So this what we call as a past passive participle, the ta, can only come tayoreva, only in karmani and bhave. It can only come in the passive. But then further, so this would demand that gatan should be passive. But then here comes the sutram, it says gatyartha akarmaka shlisha shing stha as vasa jana ruha jiryatibhyascha. So for these dhatus, or in these senses, so gatyartha, anything in the sense of motion, which is what we have right now. Akarmaka, in which of course akarmaka cannot be passive. So for these senses and these specific dhatus, we can use the nishtha, the ta pratyaya in the active sense. So this is, we have an active sense here. They had gone. They were not gone to. They went to the palace for refuge. Okay, now sharanaya. Sharanaya is the chaturthi ekvachanam of sharanam. Sharanam is napumsakalinga. It's like vanaya. Now what sutra can we use here? What sutra do we use? Firstly, is this a dvikarmaka dhatu? No, we don't have that. So So we cannot use the Pani Sutram Karmanayam Vipraiti Sasampradhanam. So we cannot use that. It is Akarmaka Dhatu involved here. That also we don't have. Do we have a Kriya Kriya involved here? They're doing something for something else. Well, that could be debate, but that's our last option. How about can we use the same example as Harim Bhajati Muktaye? He worships Hari for Mukti. He goes to the palace for refuge. They look to be about the same. So this one is that they are going to the palace in order to achieve something, to accomplish something, to get something. So this is the Tadarthya Chaturthi Vacha. So we have to use the Vartikam under the, this is what the analysis you have to do. First ask, do you have the Karmaka Dhatu? Do you have Akarmaka Dhatu? Then ask, do you have the Tadarthya? Which is it done to get something, to accomplish something, to create something? And if all this fails, then try to use the Tuman Pratyaya being suppressed. Try to use that one. So here the Tadarthya work for us. Is we can use the the 2, 3, 12 Vartikam. So that Vartikam is going to be used a lot. It's a very common Vartikam. Among all these Vartikams, the one that we want to use is the 2, 3, 13. 2, 3, 13. And it says Chaturthi Vidhane Tadarthya Upasankhyanam, and that as Shastriji has given on his page here, he says the Harim Bhajati Muktaye. So we can, same example we have is that Prasadam Gacchati Sharanaya. I think this one we can use with this one to Raja Abhinandata. Okay. So let's take the next one now. Let's see. In fact, it's the same example. Muktaye Sujanaha Ishwaram Pujayati. So exactly the same, almost word for word from Siddhanta Kaumudi. Is that so Sujanaha is the Prathama Ekavachanam. That's the Karta. He is the doer of the action. So Pujayati is the verb. So it's a 10th Gana Dhatu, Pujayati. So a Sujanaha is a Karmadharya Samasa. A good person, a noble soul, worships the Lord. Ishwaram is the object of Pujayati for the sake of Mukti. This is also Tadarthya Chaturthi Vacha. Tadarthya Chaturthi. For the sake of accomplishing something, getting something, achieving something. Okay, so that's same Vartikam. Muktaye Chaturthi Ekavachanam of the Mukti Shabda. Mukti Muktaye. So that's the same. These two are the same Vartikam. Tadarthya Chaturthi Vacha. Now look at the next one now. In fact, let me see if someone in the class can give me the answer now. Yadatam mitraya einam shatam prahinoho tadakyam toya vipretam. The padacheda as follows. Yada tvam mitraya einam shatam prahinoho tada kim toya avipretam. So padacheda of this udaharanam. So what is the main sentence is that is there are two verbs over here. There's a yada tada. Yada tada. So yada tada means when, and then at that time. So when tvam prahinoho. Dhatu is he. He is to send. This dhatu is not in Gita. It's a fifth kana dhatu, prahinoho. For the sake of the new people and everybody else as a revision, let's look at this dhatu quickly. The form prahinoho. So prahinoho is actually pra. It is pra plus ahinoho. So this is the past tense form of the dhatu he. It's a lang lakara form. See, there are only 3 lakaras which take this ad agama before them. And so far in this class we studied only one of them. So it's very easy for this class right now. Because we have looked at only one lakara which takes the ad agama. It's the lung lakara. We have not studied the other 2 lakaras as yet, the lung and the lung. If you see the ad agama coming before the dhatu for this class right now, we know it is going to be a lung. It's a lung past tense. Because Panini mentioned that there are 3 lakaras in which this adagama comes. Lung, lang, rung, shu, adudattaha. That sutra I'll give you. It is It's in 6.4. So we have the adagama. The gana vikaranam nu is also there. That's taken guna, become noho. So look at this. And the adagama comes right before the dhatu. See, this upasarga is involved. The adagama will be between the dhatu and upasarga. You will have the adagama. So that will be 6.4, I think around 70-ish is sutram. Okay, I'm sorry, 6.4, I'm sorry, 6.4. Wrong place, 6.4. So 6.4, we have 71. Lung, lang, rung, shvarudataha. So in these three lakaras, the lung, lung, and rung. Right now we know only one of them, which is lung. So it's very easy for us. When we see the adagama coming here, adagama is this a in between. It will come right before the dhatu. So the project, this upasarga is a separate pada. It will stay separate before that. So we know this ahinoho. So what has happened here is that the dhatu he was there. So we got the adagama, which is the last operation to be done. He is there. Thus we had the gana vikaranam nu. The nu went through gana, and when we have the sip pratyaya here. So it is second person singular parasnipada lang lakara. So what happens is that by the sutram itascha, that e takes lopaha, and we only sa remains. That itascha sutram is in 3.4, and I'm going too slow for the old people, but good revision for everybody is when you have the ending e over there, and the lakara has this ka ka ga ka nga as a marker, lung, 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 all these. That ending e drops. The ending e that drops. Itascha. That's in 3.4. I'll give the number for that. So in 3.4, you have all these sutras, which are lakara specific. They are depend on that particular lakara being there, or that lakara having some kind of a marker or something like that. So here, the sutra itascha will be down here. Itascha, 34100. The anurruti of nita is coming down. So if you have the lakara with no as a marker, that ikara goes away. So that we get the look at the nitaha lasya. So if you have lakara which has no as an it, parasmai padam ikarantam yat tadantasya lopasyat. So it gets lopaha. So it becomes like abhavat. So that's how this ikara of the C went away. Only sa remained. This nu to guna became no and became ahinoho. The sa became visarga to visarga sandhi rules. So now let's go to the homework example. What sutram do you want to use here? Of course, there is mitraya, enam shatam. Now this form enam, what kind of form is this enam? What is the pradipadikam? What is the vibhakti over here? Anybody in the class wants to tell me? What is the vibhakti and the pradipadikam in the form enam? This comes in Gita very beautifully in second adhyaya Bhagavad Gita. Yaenam vetti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhau sau na vijanito nayam hantina. This form enam comes in Gita second adhyaya.
Is it idam?
I'm sorry?
Idam?
Idam could be, yes. Anything else possible? Idam can give that form, but what should normally be? Okay, Karthik has a question. Okay, good. I know Karthik will know the answer. Yes, Karthik.
Is it others?
Not others. No, one more is there. See, we are on the right track.
Asav.
No, Asav is not a Pradipadikam. Asav
Is this Anvarta?
It's Anvadeshe.
Anvadesha, okay.
So it is going to be either the idam or etat. But normally you should have had, what is the Dvitiya Ekavachanam of idam in Pullinge? Should be imam. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam. So imam. But or you could have had, then how did you get the enam form? That's what I want to point out to you. What does this enam mean? Enam. This is what Pani calls anvadeshe. Let me give the Gita shlokas first when this imam starts. It comes a little bit later. it comes, okay, here it is. Ya enam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam. It starts from there, you know. It goes a little bit further also. You have the enam coming in few forms. Okay, so now this enam is what Kalpis is called anvadeshe. What is anvadeshe? Anvadeshe, in fact, let's go to Abhyankar. Let's see what it says for anvadeshe. See, anvadeshe is the form when you use something else and refer to it again a second time. That's called anvadeshe. So in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord already introduced the topic of the Brahma or the whatever the Paratattva, and then he says enam. This is the same one referred to before. It's a very beautiful form. This form enam is something which referred the same thing referred to before. So let's look at anvadeshe in Abhyankar dictionary. Let's see what he says. So this is how you can use the dictionary very, very beautifully. It says anvadeshe. And let's see what he says. Anvadeshe. Okay, anvadeshe. Okay, let's see if we have it here. Anvadesha. See, reference to a anterior word expression, and he gives the reference again to which was being stated. See, it's a beautiful dictionary, really. The word, how precisely he gives everything is fantastic. You know, the reference, and not too much detail. He gives specifically what you need. Reference again to what has been stated previously. He gives the Panini Sutram, also he gives. And he gives Vartikam. So, ekasya eva abhidheyasya puram shabdena pratipadhitasya dvitiyam pratipadanam anvadesha. He quotes Kashika. Dvitiyam pratipadanam. For a second time you refer to something we referred to before. So that's he gives this 2.4.32. By the way, this dictionary, this one, the Sutra Pataha, is also searchable. You can also search the Sutra Pataha. So if you know the word anvadesha, let me see if I can find it. If you can use the word anvadeshe, let's hope this works. Anvadesha. If you use this form anvadesha, and you can see. Oh, no matches found. Anvadesha. Why is it not finding any matches? Let me see. Okay, maybe there was in the sutram there was a sandhi, maybe something. Okay, let's see what the sutram was. It says idamo anvadeshe. Okay, because it went under some sandhi, it couldn't find it. Okay, let me see. Let me just use vadeshe. Let me see if we can find that. If we can find that. Vadeshe. Okay, now we're finding it now. Okay, here it goes. See? Oh no, I didn't find it. Vadeshe. Two matches. Why is it not finding it? Anyway, I got to get better at searching this one. But this is searchable. Should have found it sutram, this which Abhyankar has given here. It is 2.4.32 is the sutram. 2.4.32 is, you can look at it. And Panini says that, oh yeah, it did find, okay, it found it, I guess. Okay. So 2.4.32 is the sutram. Is what is the he says when you have the anvadeshaha, you can use this enam form. And then actually what you want is actually the next sutram, which is what you want. Which I think to use is this one. No, I'm sorry, not that one. Not the one. Let me give you the right number. So I mean, we're in the right section. This one, I'm sorry. This is 2.4.34. Let's look at that one. 2.4.34. It says idam etadoho. So idam and etad both. Idam and etad. Anvadeshe. So kinchit karyam vidhatum upattasya karyantaram vidhatum punar upadanam anvadeshaha. So when somebody is referred to something to do for the first time, and then he's again referred to. So he says, anena vyakaranam adhitam. So this boy has studied vyakaranam. Enam chando adhyapaya iti. So please teach him the science of chandas. So this boy has studied Vyakaranam. Please teach him also the Chandas Shastram. So the second time referral. So first time you can use only anena. You cannot say enena. So the first reference. Second time you use the enam. So this ena is the adeshaha. Ena. Anyway, so 2433 sutram. You get the ena and you get the form enam. But then do we have it here now? Actually, we don't have it. I don't think we have it. Is yadatam mitraya enam shatam prahinoho. So when you sent this rogue to your friend, or for his benefit, unto your friend, up to, So with that enam shatam is not referred to before. So I think this probably need to make a correction here, I think. This enam, unless there is some prior context, this enam cannot be used in a vacuum for the first time. It requires anvadeshaha. Remove this term anvadeshaha. And who can take anvadeshaha? Only idam and etad, they have this enam form. And when do they take it? And they take it under the dvitiya, ta, and the os. So the entire dvitiya vibhakti, singular, dual, plural. Also tritiya ekavachanam, and the shashti saptami dvivachanam. That's when we can use this ena form, become ena yoho and all that. Okay, enena. But here I don't think we have it here because this is the first reference to this rogue. So we probably have to change this one. Make it etam. Instead of saying enam, make it etam. Okay. But then more importantly, mitraya. So what sutra do you want to use? Anybody wants to make suggestions now? Mitraya. What sutra should I use now to justify Chaturthi of Mitraya? Who wants to give? Actually, let me expand this thing. I think, and give me 1 second because I cannot see all of you right now. Let me expand this one. Okay. Radhika has a answer. Very good. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Yes, Radhika. Yes, Radhika.
No, I didn't have anything. No, before I was telling that it's etat shabdam for the anam.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh, etad, yes, thank you, yes. Etad is the correct form, yes, thank you. So etad was correct.
The optional form is anam, right?
Yes, optional form, yes. And you can only use anvadesha, correct.
Right.
So idam and etad. Okay, now what sutram should I use for Chaturthi Vibhakti for this one? Anybody?
Can we use the Vartikam? Kriya api yam api prati?
Okay, kriya, but we only use for akarmaka dhatus, right? We decided that, right? So he's sending the rogue unto his friend. So clearly akarmaka dhatu we don't have. So let's not use that one. What else can we use? This is not tadarthya. Tadarthya is when you want to accomplish something, obtain something, get something. He's not getting the friend over here. Mitraya is not what he's trying to get. He's not trying to get him or obtain him or accomplish him. That's not it. I think here we just use the first main sutram. Karmana yam abhipraiti sa sampradanam. Because karmana yam abhipraiti. So he is sending this rogue for whom? Unto whom? Who is the target of sending the rogue? It's his friend. The dvikarmaka dhatu. Remember dvikarmaka dhatu. So okay, Indu has an answer. Indu has a question. Yes, Indu.
Can you use 2-3-14 Kriyartha Upapadasya?
Then what other kriya you want to supply here? So mitra mohayatum. You see, that is the last option in Induji. That's if nothing else works, we want to use that one. That is really something which you want to use when everything else kind of fails.
Only if the others fail.
I think because here clearly we want to use that the very first sutram, right? Because karmana, because dvikarmaka dhatu, the shatam is the pradhana karma. So he's sending the rogue to his friend. The friend is the target of the sending. So the mitraya will get sampradana sanya. So therefore we can use the karmana yam abhiprayati sa sampradanam and chaturthi sampradani. I think that probably will be the best. Because remember we said if you have dvikarmaka dhatu, use the 1-4-32. So 1432 is the one that you want to use here. Maybe we should go this through one more time. Last time because nobody raised their hand. Let's do it one more time. Okay. So Dvikarmaka dhatu if you have, then use the 1432, which is what we did just now. If you have a akarmaka dhatu, then use the Vartikam 1432, which is kriya yam vipreti sopi sampadanam. If you have either a thing or an action being done to reach, to accomplish, to get, to create, then you use the Vartikam on the 2-3-13 is tadarthi chaturthi vachya. If you have something which is conducive to something, which leads to something, then you use the other Vartikam on 2-3-13, which is the Krup, Dhatu Krup, and its synonyms can use that. So these two I'm talking about. When all of these fail, and then you have to supply some tumun and make up it. So this one you have to try to use first, tadarthi, which we don't have in our example here. He's not trying to accomplish the friend. He's not trying to get the friend. He's only trying to get unto his friend, to his friend. So that was 1432 we have to use here. I hope everybody is not confused. This one also we could not use because we're not trying to. It's not conducive to his friend. Doesn't lead to his friend. He's only sending it to his friend. So that's what we have to use 1432. Okay. Now and then there's a tada. Tada at that time kim toya abhipretam. This dhatu abhipretam is abhipra plus dhatu in gatau. In is to go. It is used with upasargas in various meanings. Various meanings. So abhiprai means to intend something. Abhipretam. So kim toya abhipretam. So abhipretam is the prathama ekavachanam qualifying kim. We can say this is napumsakam, samanya napumsakam. When you say what is this? Samanya. You don't know what it is. You should use napumsakam. Samanya napumsakam. You say idam kim. You should not say ayam kaha. You should not say iyam ka. You say idam kim. So what was intended by you? So what was intended by you? The tvaya is a tritiya ekavachanam of yushmat pradipadikam. So what was intended by you? If you say it in English, if you say what was your intention when you sent this rogue, this cheat to your friend. That's the meaning. And the mitra is a secondary object of the sending. That's why we can use this Chaturthi Bhakti by Karmana Yam Abhipreti Sasampadana. Okay. So that was the one. The next one is Darpaha Sukhaya Na Kalpate. This is a straightforward one. Where Dhatu Krup is already mentioned here. So here in the prior Subhashitam, we had to supply that Krup. Here it's specifically mentioned over here. So it says, Darpaha is Prathama Ekavachanam, means like arrogance or pride, haughtiness. Does not lead to, is not conducive to happiness. So arrogance is not conducive to happiness. And this is the Vartikam, which we just saw again. Specifically mentioned Dhatu Krup. If Dhatu Krup is there, we should use Chaturthi. Or something with synonym with that also we can use Chaturthi. So Mutraya Jayate Yavaguho. Yavaguho. A lot of typos in this book. Be careful. It's very well organized, but it has some typos. Okay. So Yavaguho. Mutraya Kalpate. Mutraya Jayate. So this one we can use the Vartikam on the 2-3-13. Na Kalpate. So Kalpate is a Latlakara, Prathama Purusha Ekavachanam, Dhatu Krup, and Sukhaya is the Chaturthi Ekavachanam of like Manaya is Napumsakalinga. Darpa is Prathama Ekavachanam, Dhatu Darpaha. So that's the Karta. Next one is Shatrun Parajitan Shrutva Senanir Dutam Nrupaya Prajigaya. So here the Padacheda is Shatrun Parajitan Shrutva Senanihi Dutam Nrupaya Prajigaya. So simple sentence. First we have this pratyaya tva over here. When you have pratyaya tva, you can get the structure of the sentence very easily. because sutra means samana kartrikayoho purvakale. Samana kartrikayoho purvakale. When you have two actions with a samana karta, then the prior kriya takes the tva pratyaya. Very, very common pratyaya, very common sutram. So get used to that. Because the moment you see a tva pratyaya, means that there is some samana karta doing two actions. Samana kartrikayoho purvakale. And that's number, we give a number for that. Samana kartrikayoho purvakale. So that is the 3421. 3421 is the sutram. So having heard that the enemies were defeated, having heard. So who is the samana karta? It's the senani, the leader of the army, the general, the army general, army leader. Dutam nrupaya prajighaya. He sent the messenger to the king. In English, just you can say to the king as a secondary object. Again, we have a secondary object. So what sutram now? Anybody? Secondary object. We just did that. In the same as this prior is this number 6. Anybody raise their hands? Anybody?
Karmanayam.
Yes. Thank you. So Indu also got it. Good. Thank you, Indu.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I was going to say, karmanayam.
Yeah, karmanayam.
Dvikarmaka, right.
Dvikarmaka.
Right.
So karmanayam abhiprayati sa sampradhanam. So it is the target, it is the intention, it is the sending the messenger is meant for the king. It is to the king, intended for the king. So that is for the benefit of it's not really benefit, but this is one you want to try to use in English. Okay, Indu has a question. Yes, Indu.
What about the 2-3-12, Gatyartha Karmani Tvitiya?
That's only when someone is going himself, not sending.
Okay, not means, okay.
No, physically if you are going, then only you can use that.
But he's sending, so we cannot use that.
See, but then there also not this. No, it's not the government. It's not Dvikarmaka dhatu we're talking about there.
Uh-huh.
You say Vanaya Gacchati.
Right.
There's no Dvikarmaka involved. He goes.
Right.
He goes to here. The Dutam is a pradhana karma here.
Right, I understand. Mm-hmm.
So Dutam would have taken at the most the Chaturthi Vaya Sutram.
Okay.
It was so. You see the object of the.
Right, Dutam or Dutaya.
But Duta will not work because it is
Right.
not the Gatyartha. He's not like he's going to the Duta,
Okay.
He's sending the Duta. So the sending is the verb here. It
Sending,
is not
right.
the physical.
Not
physical,
the going, but the sending.
Not the going, but sending. Okay.
Right.
So that's good. Now let's tackle this from Prajighaya. This dhatu is he. He is to send. Again, the same dhatu. Prajighaya is using again. He sent. Let's see. How can we derive this Prajighaya form? Prajighaya. Anybody want to help me with this? Prajighaya.
Yeah. Can I try?
Yeah, you can try. Okay, the Upasarga is Indu also wants to try. Okay, good.
Okay,
Maybe we can,
let Induji try.
Okay, Indu, listen. You're in the hard seat now. So, okay,
No.
let me get you. No, it's not a hard seat. Don't worry. It's good. Let me get you started. First of all, everybody should know the first step. The first step is the dhatu plus the lakara. Always the first step. So we have dhatu lakara. Here is a lit lakara. Lit is the lakara here. It is a past tense, prajighaya. And how do I know it is lit? Because it has taken a duplication there. Some abhyasa has occurred. Even though Arjuna Vacha, whatever, even if you don't know all the grammar, you can see that the duplication has happened here most likely, the jighaya. The G is for a duplicated form. So this is the very first step is this one. And the second step is you have to bring in the tip plus G, bring in the affix, the appropriate affix. You have to see where it's Atmanipada or Parasmanipada, and bring in one of the 18 affixes. The tip plus G, sip plus tha, mip was mas, tha atam ja, thas atam dham, id vahi mahi. So basically the 3x3 matrix in Parasmanipada and Atmanipada, you have to bring the appropriate, that's always the second step. So from now on, when we want any, okay, there were some comments before, okay, I think I answered them. Okay, so when we want any lakara form. First step is dhatu plus lakara. Second step is the appropriate affix, tip, etc. Let's do the second step. That's called the sutra lasya. So we got he plus tip. Okay, now let me give it to Induji. Let's see what she says. Okay, go ahead. What's the next step?
Nalatustus.
We can do that. So what she's saying is that in the lat lakara,
In
lit
the
lakara,
lit, you gotta substitute the
in parasmay
na.
padeshu, when parasmay pada, you have to make these substitutions which are outright substitutions. Sarvadeshas they are. And what are they? And where do they come? In 3.4, again, for all the new people, don't worry, you're getting a lot of sutrams thrown at you. It'll take you a few weeks or a month to get used to many sutram. You can make a note of these and, observe whatever you can get for the time being. Parasmay padanam, nal atus us, thal atus a, nal vamaha. In the lit lakara, in parasmay pada, the tip, tas, ji, etc. become these 9 immediately. So the tip becomes null, the tas becomes atus, and the ji becomes us. Now one more thing, the lit lakara, most of the time you only have third person. But this means once upon a time. It's parokshe lit. So remember only these 3. Don't worry about the others. The tip goes to null. Null means not 0, not like in English 0. It's a pratyaya null. The tas goes to the atus, and then the G, which normally becomes anti, that goes to us. So this is one more way you can recognize the lit lakara. See if you have an us. If it's parasmay pada, you should have an us or an atus. Or this null is only an a. If you remove the 8 letters, you get only a. Because by chutu and halantyam only a remains. So like we say Arjuna uvacha. Uvacha. You have this a at the end. And you say Shankha dadmuh putak putaka. Dadmuh. You have the us at the end. What do we have right now? We have an a at the end. We have the form prajighaya. That a is there at the end. So that one this may be lit lakara. So if it's parasmay pada, if it is lit, look for either the a, the atus, or the. Okay, so let's continue. So what Indu has done so far is he has made the tip into the null. Null means only a remains after the it letters. What's the next step? Induji, what's the next step?
Abhyasa karya.
Abhyasa karya we could be. Before that, we should mention one thing, that this pratyaya, tip and the null, is a pratyaya which is ardha dhatuka. Litcha sutram. Normally when you bring in the tip plus ji, they are pratyaya which is called sarva dhatukas. Because ting shit sarva dhatukam. Ardha dhatukam sheshaha. But this special sutram which Pani says in lit lakara, these tip plus ji themselves, they are not sarva dhatuka, they are ardha dhatuka pratyaya. They are ardha dhatukas. This one litcha, this 34115. That is why you don't get any gana vikaranam. No shap, no gana vikaranam comes in here at all. Because that gana vikaranam only comes sarva dhatuke. And lit adeshas are always pratyas which are ardha dhatukas. So therefore no shap, no gana vikaranam coming here. Because litcha sutram, okay. So that's gone. Then as Induji said, we have to do the abhyasa karyam. So abhyasa karyam, the sutram that we have is liti dhatu anabhyasasya. Liti dhatu anabhyasasya. Liti dhatoho anabhyasasya. So if you look at that comes in the beginning of 6.1. Again, I have to apologize to the old students. This is all revision for you, but a little bit slow today. Is liti dhatu anabhyasasya. 6.1.8. When you have a lit lakara, the dhatu takes abhyasa. Liti dhatu anabhyasasya. Only one time. It will not take abhyasa over and over again. It will take abhyasa one time. Abhyasa means that it's called duplication. The dhatu vowel is duplicated. So we then get he plus a. That's what we have. Okay. Now what's the next step, Induji?
Kuhoschuhu.
Yeah, kuhoschu. In the abhyasa, there's something is happening.
Okay.
This is called purva abhyasaha. This is the abhyasa bhagaha. And so this takes some specific operation. They all come at the end of 7.4 in Ashtadhyayi. At the end of 7.4 in Ashtadhyayi, Panini puts all the rules which tell you what to do in the abhyasa. They're very, very important sutrams, there are only about few of them which are used all the time. So what happens in the abhyasa bhaga? It comes in 7.4 is the sutram which starts from the, I think 7.4 around, which starts from abhyasa, from here. From 7.4.58 down to end of 7.4, all the abhyasa karyani. And in that, these are in the important ones. 7.4.59, rasvaha, haladi shesha, 7.4.60, sharpurvashthaya, kuhoshchuhu, and the urat. Okay, briefly what these means. In abhyasa, the vowel becomes short. In abhyasa, that's number 59, 7.4.59. We already have a short vowel, so this we don't need. We already have a short vowel E only in abhyasa. So sutta rasvaha we don't need to use. Then haladi sheshaha. So if you have a hal in abhyasa, a consonant in abhyasa, it can only remain if it is the first member. So hal can only remain in abhyasa if it is the first member. We do have a hal. The hal is the hakara. But it is the first member. So it will stay. It will not go away. Because we have ha. That ha is the first member. Ha plus E is what we have. Okay. So that we don't need. Sharpurak is an apavada for haladi shesha. We won't look at detail today. We'll come back to later. Kuhoshchuhu is the ka varga and the hakara becomes cha varga adesha in the abhyasa. Kuhoshchuhu. So that's one which we want to use here. Is the hakara wants to take the ka varga adesha. Remember, the hakara is a mahaprana mrudavarna. It's also a kanthya. It's also which it wants to get the cha varga adesha now. So in the cha varga, we want to choose this closest substitute, sthaniyantara tamaha. So we want to use the mahaprana mrudavarna. So we want to use the ja. So it becomes G. So kuhoshchu was what we used. So it became G plus he plus This Tinganta is the heart of Panini. Without Panini, Tingantas are very difficult. You cannot memorize all these forms. You cannot keep on memorizing Jihaya form. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, the next sutram is the Abhyase Charcha. Right? Abhyase Charcha. That is one sutram for Abhyasa which is not in 7.4. That's the one important sutram for Abhyasa which is not in 7.4. That comes in 8.4, Abhyase Charcha. And 8.4, the sutram says that if you have a jal in Abhyasa, it becomes either jash or char. It says Abhyase Charcha, Abhyase Charcha. And that will be the 8.4.53. If you have a jal, it is going to go to either the jash or the char. It's going to column 3 or column 1. Of the 5 by 5 matrix, it goes to column 3 or column 1. We have ja. Now ja is a column 4 member. Cha, cha, ja, ja, ya. So ja is column number 4. It's going to go to column number 3. It's going to become G. So now we have the G plus he plus a. Because this ja became a jash letter because of Abhyase Charcha. Abhyase Charcha. And finally, what sutram?
Herachangi.
So Herachangi. We need that. That's a very specific rule for dhatu he. So all the rules which we use so far are common rules for all lit lakar in parasya pada. You'll have to use the same rules. We have to use the abhyasa karyam. You have to use the null. We have to make substitutions. Null plus us. All those rules are common. But this one, which Indu said right now, that's specific for the dhatu he. Dhatu he. In fact, I wrote that also in my notes on this one. This 7356 Herachangi. What does that say? That says that if you have the dhatu he, let's go to 7356. Then in the in the Abhyasa Bhaga, it takes the Kavarga Adesha. Kavarga Adesha, Herachangi. So this 7356 it says that it says this sutra is not in Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi, by the way. This sutram is not in Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi. It says hinotehe hakarasya abhyasad uttarasya kavarga adesha bhavati achangi, not the pratyaya chang. In fact, he gives the form prajigaya. Prajigaya form is given in Kashika as an example on this sutra. So if you have the dhatu he, which is following an abhyasa, so which is what we have. This he follows the abhyasa. It becomes the kavarga adesha. So again, the ha is a mahaprana, it is a mrudavarna, it's going to become gha. So we're going to get the form gha, and we get the g plus g, and then the a. And finally, Nuji, last step. Achoniti is that this na as an it is going to cause the vriddhi of this e, achoniti. So we're going to get, that was when you brought the pratyaya null. In this null pratyaya, this na is an it. And that causes the vriddhi of the ghi. And we get the g plus, it becomes ghai. And then you do the hoyava sandhi, become prajighaya. The sutram is in 7.2, achoniti sutram. See, unfortunately, there's no way to really take too many shortcuts here. We need some of these sutras to understand that form. But you can start making educated guesses, though, what it might be. So achoniti. So if you have an anga ending in a, pratyaya following either the cha varga or ta varga as an it, the panchama, the nasal, the cha varga nasal or the ta varga nasal as an it, then you do the vriddhi of that ending of the achara. So that's, so we got then we do the echava sandhi, became prajighaya. Because I becomes aya, prajighaya. This was a tough form, I must admit. The reason why this was tough was because of the fact that this kavarga adesha was coming. To guess the dhatu was a he dhatu, you only have the g and the gha. And this gha was coming by specific rule 7356. So this is a tough form. If you didn't get it, it's okay. Normally you can make some educated guesses on the lit lakara. If you guess the dhatu was he, you can check the abhyasa, has to be g. G has to be the abhyasa. G has to be the abhyasa. You can, so at least you can do a backwards check. If the dhatu is he, the abhyasa has to be g. So your guess is correct. But so anyway, so we got you can check from the meaning. From the meaning you could have guessed it, but this is a tough form. Okay, thank you, Najib. So we got the form. So this is a lit lakara, means that, okay, Karthik has a question. Let me talk to Karthik. Yes, Karthik.
Satiji, what was the rule number for jhal becoming jash or char? The rule number for that?
Oh, the abhyasi charcha?
Yeah.
The step you're talking about this step. I'm glad you follow the rules. It makes me happy. You're following the rules. Very good. By the time at this time people are asleep in the class, and Panini starts in this much. The people see, now I cannot see who's asleep or who's not. But I'm glad you are awake and following the rules. Very good. So okay, you're talking about this
becoming char or
abhyasa charcha. Yeah. That is in 8453, I think, or 8454. Maybe. Let me check the number. Abhyasa charcha is the rule, and that one is in 84. I think 84 probably 50. It's in the 8450s. 8453. 8453. Abhyasa charcha. The cha means the jash. If you look at the price of some jash is coming out, anuvritti is coming down there. So in abhyasa, jhal will become either char or jash, the closest one. Okay, good. So that is good. Now let's look at go back to the homework. So what it says is that having heard the enemies were overpowered, or they were paraji is to overpower or to conquer. Shatrun parajitan shrutva. Shatrun parajitan is dvitiya bhuvachanam. object of Shrutva. So having heard that the enemies were defeated. Now, Senani, where is come in Gita? Senani nam aham skandaha. Comes in Bhagavad Gita. That's a very rare non-Paninian form in Bhagavad Gita. Senaninam is not the Paninian form in Bhagavad Gita. It should become Senanyam, not Senaninam. Yes, Induji.
Vibhuti Yoga?
Vibhuti Yoga, very good.
10.
It's a non-Paninian form. Senaninam. Because that Nut Agama should not have come here. Rasvanadhyapo Nut is Pani Sutram. Rasvanadhyapo Nut. This is not a Nadi form. This is not like Nadinam. So Senaninam aham skandaha should have been Senanyam aham skandaha according to Panini Vyakaranam. And so this is because mostly Gita follows Panini very closely. Very closely. But this particular one doesn't follow Panini rules. The Senaninam aham skandaha. Sarasam Sagaraha. So this comes in the Vibhuti Yoga, as Indu said. Let me give you the number here. Senanina Mamskandaha. Okay, let's see now. It will come somewhere here. Senanina. Okay, Senanina. See all Sakara, 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 Sakara. Little bit poetry going on. Senanina Mamskandaha. Sarasam Asmi Sagaraha. So Senanina. Should have been Senanyam as a Pani Vyakaranam. But okay, comes in Gita. So this form is okay, Senanihi. So this is not like Nadi Shabda. The Dhatu is Ni. So Senam Nayati iti Senanihi. One who leads the army. So having heard that the enemies were overpowered, the leader of the army sent a messenger. That's Prajighaya, sent to the king. So this is again Karmana Yam Vipraiti Sasampradanam. The object of the sending, the object to whom the messenger was intended for whom, the Abhipraiti, the intention of sending the messenger was for the king. He was the intended recipient of that messenger going. Okay, so that's how we got that. Let's go to the next one. Yaha shatrubhyopi na kupyati, yo dhanibhyopi nershyati, yo durjanebhyaha prabhavati, tasmai bhagavan shantim dadati. Yat tat construct. So one who does not do this, or who does this, unto him the Lord gives peace, grants peace. So Bhagavan Shantim Dadati. Shantim Ditya Ekavachanam. So the Lord gives peace, grants peace unto him who does not have anger even towards his enemies. Shatrubhya api na kupyati. And then yaha dhanibhya api na irshyati. So one who is not jealous even of the wealthy. Durjanebhya prabhavati. Who can take care of, who can handle, who can deal with, who is a good match for even the wicked people, or the wicked people. Unto him the Lord grants peace. Okay, now who wants to give sutras for this to me now? Shatrubhyaha na kupyati. Shatrubhyaha na kupyati. So he is not angry even with his enemies. Who wants to give sutram for this now for me? Somebody new. Karthik has it. Good. Karthik is involved. Yes. Yes, Karthik.
It's the Krudha, Druha, Irshya, Asuyarthanam, Yam Pratikopaha.
Very good. Yam Pratikopaha. Very good. Very good. Actually, even there's a small controversy. Is that this Krodha is supposed to be a little bit of more intense than Kopaha. So some of the grammarians, they have a problem with that Dhatu Kup taking the Chaturthi. But anyway, for this class, we don't have to go into that much detail. But technically, between Dhatu Kup and Krut, there is some difference. The sutram which Karthik, the sutram which he was saying was that the Krudha, Druha, so that one is in this one. Kruha, Druha, Isha, Asuyarthanam, Yam Pratikopaha. So it says Arthanam. So we can have synonyms also. Even though Krudha only is mentioned, we can include Kupa in that. As long as it's the same meaning, but the same meaning. But sometimes, people have this they take an extra meaning of the Krita. Anyway, so that's for us. We can leave it as simple for that. So that's correct sutra. That gives the sanya of sampradhanam, chaturthi sampradhane. Okay, so the same thing about the irsha. Irshyati is the same thing. So same sutram also irsha is mentioned. Now, how about the next one? Durjanebhya prabhavati. What sutram for that? Durjanebhya prabhavati. Anybody? Sutra number for that? Anuji can do this one, I think. Can she do this? Maybe she can do this one. Let's see. So what sutram can we use for that one? Durjanebhya prabhavati. We don't have a jukarmaka dhatu. We don't have akarmaka dhatu. He's not doing to. So who can deal with? Who is a good match for? Who can handle? Who can handle the wicked people? What sutram? We did in the last class. Anybody? Okay. This sutram is that. Okay, Karthik has it. Oh, very good. I'm impressed. Karthik has a lot of sutrams today. Yes, Karthik.
Is it Namaswasti Swaha
Yes.
Swadha
Very good.
Alam
Very good.
Vashat Yoga?
Which among those?
It's Alam.
Alam. Very
Alam.
good. Yes, thank you. Hindu and Karthik have it. Thank you very much. Sutra is Alam, and there's a Vartikam under that also, which we saw in Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi, which one says that the Alam is to be understood for Paryapti. So Alam iti Paryapti Artha Grahanam. Alam has 2-3 meanings. Alam is the one which says for it is to decorate somebody, enough with something, but here it means to be Paryapti, means he is capable of dealing with something. You say, look at this nice example. Namastat karmabhyaha vidirapi na yebhya prabhavati. So I salute those prarabdha karmas who even Brahma cannot do anything about them. So I salute those karmas. Namastat karmabhyaha vidirapi na yebhya prabhavati. This is the example given by Shastri ji. So vidirapi na prabhavati. So even fate or Brahmaji cannot handle these, cannot deal with these karmas. Unto those karmas I salutation. So anyway, so prabhavati is in here. So that's correct. So alam is the word for you using. So paryaptyartha grahanam. The sutram, as Karthik said correctly, is a namaswasti, and that number is the upapada vibhakti now. Upapada vibhakti that will come in 2.3. So 2.3. Let's see. So in 2.3, namaswasti swaha sadha. So the 2.3. 16. Namaswasti swaha swadha alam vashad yoga cha. So that's the sutram. So alam is what we used. Okay, so we got that. So Prabhu is to be a Swami, to be the Lord of, to be master of. Okay. And then Shantim Dadati is very easy, right? What? Now how come? Yeah. Now what sutram for that? Tasmai Shantim Dadati. What sutram for that now? Vikarmaka dhatu. Anybody other than Karthik or Hindu ji? This is the very first one that we used today. Anybody wants to raise their hands? No. Then let me ask Karthik again. Yes, Karthik. What one did you use?
Karmana Yamabhipraiti Sampradana.
Very good. Karmana Yamabhipraiti. I think Hindu also has it. Thank you, Hindu. Karmana Yamabhipraiti Sampradhanam, because the target, the object is for the benefit of. He grants peace unto that person. So that's the karmana yamavipraiti. So dukarmaka dhatu. He gives peace unto that person. Okay, so translation one more time. Yaha, the one who. So you supply janaha. Because yaha is a pronoun, you have to supply some noun for that. So you can supply janaha, samanya janaha, or you can say bhaktaha. So the person who is not angry, even with who has no anger even towards, you can say, towards his enemies, who is not jealous even of the wealthy people, and who can deal with, who's capable of dealing with evil or evil people. Unto him the Lord grants peace. please practice sutras as much as you can. If you just want to do it in English or just want to be intuitive, you don't need a sutras. It's kind of intuitive for you. But if you have Jukarmaka Dhatu, try to use Jikarmana Yamabipraiti Sasampradanam. If you have Akarmaka Dhatu, use the Vartikam on that, which is not very common usage. After that, so the Vartikam is Kriya Yamabipraiti Sobi Sampradanam. If you have Tadarthye, something which is a common usage, for the sake of something, for getting something, for attaining something, for creating something, for making something, for achieving something, you Tadarthye Chaturthi Vachya. But the Vartikams are not worded exactly the same. The Vartikam in Siddhanta Kaumudi and the Vartikam in Kashika will be worded slightly different. You have to be careful of that. If you're looking in the index of Vartikams, first of all, Vartikams are a gray area. All the Vartikams mostly come from the Mahabhashya. But sometimes Bhattoji changes the description. Sutras are standard. Sutras are standard wording. Vartikams are not. The same Vartikam might come in fact, let's look at it very quickly. The same Vartikam is Tadatya Chaturthi Vachya. I think it comes in the Siddhanta Kaumudi as the Tadarthya Chaturthi Vachya is what Siddhanta Kaumudi says. So Tadarthya Chaturthi Vachya. If you look at the Kashika, he gives slightly different. So be careful of that. Don't expect to be the exact same wording in both places. If you look at the 2.3.13, he gives the Chaturthi Vidhane Tadarthya Upasankhyanam. So slightly different wording. So please get used to that. It won't be the same wording all the time. So that use that if it's something, as I said, to accomplish, to gain, to create something. If everything fails, of course, we have something which is conducive for something else, which leaves something else. Dhatu Klup can be used. That's another Vartikam on the same Sutram, Chaturthi Sampradani. Then you can also use that next Sutram, and you can take a Tuman and suppress it, which we didn't use in the homework. We didn't need to use that. That's also available to you. And of course, then you have the Namaswasti Swaha, you have the Krudha, Druha, Irsha, those specific usages. Okay, so that is the Chaturthi Vibhakti. Let's move on. We're almost out of time. We just introduce the next part, then we'll stop. Is the next one, he starts with the next, so that ends the Chaturthi Vibhakti section. He wants us to derive these following forms. Abhiman plus Ktin. So what is this Ktin Pratyaya now? These are feminine nouns. The Sutram is Striyam Tin. Striyam Tin. I will continue next time. But Sutram Striyam Tin says that when you want to make a abstract noun in the feminine, the Pratyaya Tin is the default. In that Tin, the Ka is an It, and the Na also is an It by Halantyam, Lashakvatadite. Only the Ti remains. So we have, that is 3.3.94, Striyam Tin. In what meaning can we use this Tin? Only to create an abstract noun, can we use in other meanings? For that we have to go to the two important sutrams, which is the 3.3.18.19. We say that, which tell us that we can use these pratyas in the sense of bhave to make an abstract noun, or akartaricha kartak karake sanyayam. So if you take a dhatu like ni is to lead. We say nitihi. Niti can mean leading. But how can it mean ethics? How can it mean morality? Because when we say niti shastram, politics, then we can say that by which people are led is nitihi. We can use like that maybe. So niti can be used in any karaka except kartari. So that from which people are led, that by which people are led, that which is led by somebody else. So this is not only bhave by 3.3.18, but akratri chakarike sanyayam. So in any of, but she cannot be kartari. So niti cannot be the leader. It can be other karakas. It can be bhave, means just abstract noun. Okay. So with that introduction, let's maybe stop for today. We'll continue next time with these forms. Today we took a lot of time because Chaturthi Vibhakti is kind of easy in one way if you can just want to do the English part of it, but it's difficult because it's a gray area in the Ashtadhyayi, and different scholars give different opinions, and you have to sometimes make a choice between one and the other. So next time we start from the homework number here, this 3. I can give some quick sutrams for you if you can do for homework. In Abhiman plus Tin, you want to use Sutram 6437. 6437. In the Kya plus Tin, nothing special, just join them. Surj plus Tin, you want to use 8236. 8236. In Ksham plus Tin, you want to use 6415 to make the Dirgha, make Shanti. Shru plus Aka, nothing special, you just had to use Achonyati to make the Vriddhi. Pat plus Naka, you want to use the Atopadhaya. I think that's 721151116. And Sich plus Nak, nothing special, use the 7386 to make the Upada Guna. Same thing, Much plus Naka, 7386. Gai plus Naka, you want to use 6145 and 7333. Nash plus Naka, again Atopadhaya, I think it's 72116. Abhinetra, you want to use the 7384. Savadhatuka Ardhatuka Yoho. Gum plus Trich, you want to use, well, nothing special, only Anuswara and Parasavarna. Here, Nrit, you want to use the 7386, and here also nothing special, just only Idagamas you're talking about. So we'll do this next time. So please practice. We'll also try to finish the next page. We'll go a little bit faster next time with the homework. So let's do the Mangala Charanam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Vyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bho Rama Mamudhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Ramanama Varanana Onnamahiti. I'll stay back for questions. If anybody has any questions, please ask. Otherwise, the class is over. Okay, was it a big typo? So, Paul, let me see. Paul had a question, Paul? Paul, do you have a question, Paul? Okay, he's not there. I thought he had a question about a typo.